All right, guys, we're going to do your favorite thing in math, some word problems. Now, we're going to start out easy with some word problems that actually have pictures, so don't stress too much just yet. And our first problem is talking about a reverse bungee ride, which I wasn't sure what that meant, so I had to look it up. And what I found out is that a reverse bungee ride, instead of starting at the top and jumping down, you start at the bottom and slingshot yourself up into the air. So that's a reverse bungee ride. So Reagan is standing halfway between the two vertical posts on this bungee ride. So that means that here is Reagan's, here's Reagan right here, and she's halfway, which means that this part of the triangle is 4 meters, and so is this part of the triangle. So those are two identical triangles. I really don't need to concern myself with both. I really just need to look at one. So let's just pick this triangle here on the right and see if I can get a color that looks like it'll show up pretty well. All right, so we have a triangle with a 4-meter line here. We also have our angle of elevation. So here's Reagan, here's her angle of elevation. She's looking up at the top. And we want to know, she's 1 meter waist high. So whatever we get for this distance when we solve, we're going to have to add this 1 meter back in. Okay, so we're going to use trig to solve for how tall are the vertical posts. So we are going to look at this problem. Here is our reference angle. We have the adjacent side, and we are looking for the opposite side. So opposite and adjacent, if we remember back in the last few sections, we had SOHCAHTOA. So opposite and adjacent is going to be our TOA. So adjacent, opposite, 70 degrees. So those are what I'm working with. So here's going to be my equation. The tangent of 40 degrees is equal to the opposite, that's the thing that I don't know, x, over the adjacent, which is the thing that I do know. Well, y'all know how to solve these. These are easy, right? All we got to do is cross multiply. So cross multiply, I get 4 times the tangent of 40 degrees is equal to x. Well, then I just stick that guy into Desmos. So here it is. I've plugged into Desmos 4 times the tangent. And I even inserted for you guys this extra little bit here that tells us that we've got to be in degrees. So make sure you're checking that. When it wasn't in degrees, it gave me a negative number. And that doesn't make any sense. So we're going to say, okay, there was a pause there. Here's the pause. I looked at my answer that just switched out for you, and I noticed that it was smaller than the distance of the adjacent side, which did not make any sense. So sometimes we make just a very simple mistake, like in this case, I had the wrong number here. I had, instead of 70, I had 40. See, right here, I even put it here and I put it here. It's actually the tangent of 70 degrees, okay? So we all make mistakes. And part of math, and what we do really well in math, is finding a mistake and fixing it. This was a simple copying error. And I would say 9 times out of 10 when I make mistakes, they're copying errors. So we really don't want this to be 40 degrees. We really want this guy to actually be 70 degrees. 70 degrees. There we go. So that gives me 10.98. It does not tell me anything about rounding or how I should round. So that tells me that this guy over here is 11-ish meters. 11 meters. Now, that is only the distance from here to here, because remember, Reagan is 1 meter above the ground. So we actually have to add on 11 plus 1 additional meter to get 12 meters. Generally speaking, when we are solving word problems using trigonometry, we are going to use the tangent. That is pretty normal that we use tangent, because a lot of times those angles of elevation, when you look at them, the pieces that we would be given would be opposite and adjacent. Very rarely will we ever be given this guy, the hypotenuse. And if we don't have a hypotenuse, we can't use so, ka, toa. We can only use toa. No so, no ka. Only the toas. So only the sine and the cosine are completely out. We usually only use the tangent when we are trying to solve problems with trig. So hopefully that helps you get started on the next few problems.